What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm here in WG. We're hosting our Monday stream. We just started the month, just started a new week. Let's get after it. I see these lows down here from April, the mid-end of April, before we had the most recent pop-up. And like I said, I'm not surprised. Where we were rejected from is exactly where we were rejected from. Obviously, in hindsight, we have this this 12-hour level of supply here. I've been trading 12-hour a lot more, so I look and tend to focus on like supply and demand levels on any time frame that I like to trade frequently, and this is one of them right now. We had like these compressed lower highs, um, which looked to be flagging out until it didn't. We ended up just rejecting that level lower, accepting right back below the range that brought us up into these highs. And yeah, that's pretty much where we keep rejecting these tight lower highs from. Like, look at these just compressed lower highs that end up legging lower each and every time. We even saw it over the weekend, this last weekend, like just couldn't even get into where I wanted a retest for a short. I was looking to get into a short at around, this level here, I guess you could call it, like this 12-hour supply level, OB. We also had the 1 day level of supply that we've been trading in and consolidating like over on this deviation here, which in hindsight is obviously a deviation. I wanted that retest, like just a little push, and we never got it. And now we're just nuking fully. That's a sign to obviously be cautious. I mean, if you weren't already. But I do think that with us approaching these significant lows down here, seeping into this 1 day level of demand here, right? We have this 1 day level of demand. I can't stray away from that. I do like to trade my demand levels, and I got to, like, if I have been patient all weekend for an entry, I'm going to try my spot when we come up into this zone here. I don't know if you're looking at the same zone. I know we do look at the same levels of demand. I don't know how much you tied that into your analysis here when you are accounting for this retest here, because we did pile up this demand before this push up, and we did end up front running it. So I don't know if you put that into your analysis. I know with the front runs, you obviously just talked about how we can slice straight through a zone or a level, and I think that could happen if these levels are front run like this. But again, like, we've seen a lot of weakness lately, and for me to not try a level here just because I assume we're going to slice straight through, I mean, I don't see a problem with trying an entry here with an invalidation like around here, and that's what I'm going to try. Are you looking for anything immediately for BTC, or you're just going to wait for whatever happens first and then look for moves after?
At this point, I want to see the retest back into 71.7. So we cut through it. That's fine. It was a fast deleveraging. Like we had, so some pretty poor numbers, ISM, whatever you want to call it. Bad news regarding, like the Iran negotiations, all this. So it's normal for people to kind of panic. You had Sailor sell 32 BTC at 77K. So again, everybody just overreacts. ETF flows, hitting almost record levels of outflows. So there's like a bunch of things that just insinuate panic, and that can go well below a level of interest. In this case, for me, it's 71.7. So this is like kind of what I have here. From like a technical perspective, like nothing strikes me as odd here. I'll be honest with you. If it's a bearish retest, it'll accelerate. It'll get back to previous lows that we were at, no problem. I have a number of things that could suggest that we're getting a bit exhausted here, and that's on a daily, it's on a 4 hour, it's on a 15 minute. It's almost like relief should be on the way from this point on. It's just, where is it? I don't necessarily know. I like the levels that you put out. I think you can hold these lows, no problem. And I don't think there's anything wrong with waiting for reaction at 71.7 if it wants to consolidate and fail to get above that, and then we have ourselves back in the range, and we can just play another range play, right? Like, you can easily just assume that we're back in the range. So like, trying the knife catch here. I mean, if you have levels, you go for it, right? Like, I'm more of like, okay, we overreacted back into the range. Like, how are we going to respond if we try to get back out of it, right? And I can make my decision from there. I think 71.7 is probably a very significant level. And we can see, just based on how a short covered this morning, we got quite a nice spike. Volume was very, very active, especially at this level over here. So again, I think, like, a lot of this is news driven, fear related, and rightfully so, right? We had moments away from a potential ceasefire to this morning. Actually, no, you know what? We're cutting off all negotiations. We're not doing anything. To Sailor Mister Never Sell sells even a slither of BTC. People kind of panic. You have inflation related numbers that are not helping our situation. We kind of know that good news is bad news right now, and once again, if it's going to come back but even worse than what we expected, then obviously the market starts gaining traction and starts to panic, which is this is the PA that resembles more of a panic, a leverage flush. So again, going all the way down into 70, I think it's fine, but really, like, when it comes from like a longer time frame outlook, I really have my eyes on 71.7, and that's what I'm considering. But like for now, I'm just gonna let the dust settle. I want to overtrade. I mean, I feel like BDC in comparison has been incredibly weak, um, and that's been bothering me really. It doesn't mean that we can't play other pairings. I think there's a number of pairings that have just been performing incredibly, like ton off the demand zone, a ton of things. Like, no pun intended, but like there's so many pairings that are actually responding quite well to this that I think our focus is just better off there. But watching BDC at the level it's at now, probably important. It's just, is there a trade to take here? I don't.
USDT.D is super strong, taking out the highs right now currently from pre-weekend price action. We ended up holding a significant flip at 7.6%. And we're seeing the complete adverse reaction on crypto. You can pull up that chart if you'd like to, brother.
Yeah, it's a total rotation back into stables, and it kind of almost resembles. And I'm not a pattern chart trader. It's almost like kind of like resembles a bull flag, um, a pretty big one at that as well. So it's it could just be a leg up, and it would be a total correlation to BDC price action, which is ready to see. I don't think so, but it's very possible, ready to see new lows. So again, it's just follow the stables, guys. Like, we're seeing a lot of low liquidity exit pumps, and that's usually the sign that a larger move is on the horizon. It's something I've been very, very vocal about in my corner for the past 2 3 weeks. Is when we start to see the low liquidity pairings just start pumping for no reason. Everybody starts believing in an AI narrative, or they start believing in this on chain narrative. It's usually always these fallacies that at any moment these things are going to start kicking off, when really it's just grinding you down for the inevitable larger cap moves that are about to experience a really strong move, and usually to the downside. When they're trying to convince you that these things that you see in this watch list here um, are somehow more reliable, worth more, or anything, when your major asset is going down, that's usually a bad sign. And then you see your stables popping off the way that they are. And this USDC, it's USDT. It's usually a bad sign. This is the majority of your market cap is not moving, and I would say about 10 to 15% of this entire industry is experiencing growth. There's something off about that. So um, that's really what it is. It doesn't mean that you can't play them. That's what I'm trying to say. Is like, we've been playing things I never thought I'd play in my life, and we've been fine. It's just when you start to see like the warning shots, like spot discounts and positive funding on every drop, like, it's usually a bad sign that a big deleveraging is coming. So
Yeah, honestly, you bring that up. What's crazy, and people are calling it an overrated indicator, man, but I mean, I beg to differ. Coinbase has not seen a premium in what, over a week right now, and the whole time it's been slow grind rejection down this whole time. And I saw nothing but slander on premium and discounts about how overrated a Confluence is. Man, if that Confluence is working, how's it overrated? We've seen a complete discount in premium, meaning that people are not purchasing spot. That is a clear indication that people are de-risking or they're not risk on.
if you just take a look at this right here, like, funding's the highest it's been in God knows how long. Like, I don't remember the last time it was at 0.02 as a total average. Like that's more than double what we typically have, and that's during bear markets, that's during bull markets. Like, this just shows you how many people are purplunging this. And again, like, you just look at the massive discrepancy between Coinbase's index and Bitfinex, which is usually the one I lead with, because if Bitfinex has a premium, there's a problem. That's probably a 10 out of 10 strike rate. Is every time I see Bitfinex, um, their index trading at a fucking $100, maybe almost $200 premium, something's up. you're giving them, you're essentially giving them free money, right? So when I see such a large discrepancy like this, it's probably the leading indicator that most people are getting a bit too horny with perp longs, and that's fine. It's just it's quite indicative, right? Like at this, when you're 10% down, 12% down, even 13% down from your most recent highs, like the last thing you want to see is people just longing on perps, because that just probably implies that there's way more to go. What you really want to see is organic generic spot demand, and that's not what we've been seeing ever since STRC, which again decisively purchased literally right here the same time that we got Clarity Act moving to the Senate. It was quite literally sell the news in hindsight, right? Like it's just the spot purchases stopped, the premium disappeared, and what did you know? 13 to 15% down. Like sometimes it's as easy as just spotting it. Do people people willing to pay for this more than they're willing to pay for a paper contract? And that's quite, again, it's your biggest market cap. This might not be as relevant when you're trading something like ETH or Hype or Sol, because these markets are so much more minuscule than BTC. But when like the vast majority, which is roughly around 60% of this market cap, is willing to buy the thing on paper but not the physical thing, we have a problem. And that's how it has to be seen. So it's, it's that's how I look at it. But again, like we're not trying to be too bearish now. It's been 15% down since the move, right, from the top here. We're not trying to like FUD people and do this. It's just like, take a look at like what's the like what's the what's the word I'm looking for, Rob? Like what's the legitimacy of the purchasing down here? And like the reality is like funding's higher than it's ever been. It just continues to increase the lower it goes. So it's indicative that like no, we don't have as many people shorting on paper as you think we do. We actually have quite a bit of spot selling, and then that's problematic, right? So
Yeah, I think you hit that right on the nail. I was gonna add to that as well that there's no sell volume. Where is it? It's gone. And this is a very like if there was sell volume, we would have seen a harsher rejection, in my opinion. The fact that we're seeing slow rejection without any volume is worrisome to me, and I agree with you on that standpoint as well. I don't know if we'll see new lows. I don't think we'll see new lows because I'm starting to believe that we are in the camp of we painted the low and maybe we'll have to push super deep into the low, even lower where people anticipate. Like we might hit 63K and that still holds, right? And that still means that we don't paint new lows and we still paint a higher low. We sweep the 65K lows, and that can be the case. But all that being said is you could look at things like funding rates, Coinbase Premier Discount. You could look at where the volume is and really paint a picture that way. I think you bring a really good point as well that these illiquid sort of pairs, and I mean VC backed coins as well, are giving significant pumps. And I think that that is a clear sign for the future. And you could put that into your, into your brain for later, save that if you've already missed moves and so on and so forth. But that is also an indication of potentially trapping you before a bigger move to the downside occurs. And we've seen that happen in the past. It's pretty much muscle memory at this point. But the difference we're seeing now is the slow grind in price action that we haven't seen for quite some time. And not even grinding, ranging price action. I'd be happy if we were moving up 2K, down 3K, up 4K, down 2K, but we're not doing that. We're just literally moving up a few $100, rejecting down a little bit more than that, and then full on rejecting after the weekend occurs. This is also analytically the first weekend that we haven't pumped from in quite some time as well. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong on that standpoint, but every single weekend close has been followed by a pump except this last weekend. So that is a very telling sign as well for me.
adding on to what you said, like it's not that there like aren't sellers, it's that there's no sell side liquidity on the paper side. So there's no bluff to call. There's no liquidity to fetch. And again, if we're gonna be met with if we're gonna be met with like consistent spot selling, right? That's fine because it's more distributive than anything. It's more people panicking. It's ETF flows, reaching record outflows, which is usually probably the sign that you're closer to the end than you are to the beginning. Like that part's fine. The problem is it's like the more and more and more people long on perps, the easier and easier it is to hunt liquidity and force more sells. So that's like the biggest issue I have with this lately is that's what we're seeing is that every drop down, everybody keeps trying to knife catch it, right? But your funding's still so super high. So like it's very, very indicative that there's so much more leverage to flush out of the system. Now, like when we were riding into 82K, right? there was a real chance, right? There was a real opportunity to really gun for like the 86K, the 87K level, maybe even 84.6. That was really my special number. Until we found out there was really not that many people short, and anybody that was short, we kind of just hunted them, and there was no buyback liquidity that allowed us to get to like 84, 87. So that's when I kind of like when I saw us stalling out at 82, I was like, oh no, we got nothing else to chase, and there's so much more leverage down here, and that's kind of what happened. And it's like you just need a consistent spot seller, right? And that's just when you have this much liquidity to hunt, it just forces back really easy sell orders. So whoever's selling to you up here is just ready to buy it back. Once they cause that cascade, and again, it's not like we haven't seen it. I mean, we've seen this before. Just to put it in perspective, we'll pump 30% off the lows. We'll maybe hunt 300 mil of shorts. We dropped by 5% today. We're nearly at $1 billion in liquidations. So it's like it's the same shit every time. It's you have no idea how many people are actually like leveraging, to the tits. It's pretty crazy to see how much money this market still has, trying to knife catch it.
I wanted to just kind of add to that as well. Like you, with there not being sell side liquidity, like you might see patches upside when you're looking at the heat maps and shit like that, but those levels are not being retested, and that's a problem for people that like just are trying to catch momentum, right? Like I mean, don't get me wrong. In hindsight, we lost the range high from March 16th. That's 74.5 level is a significant level regardless. We traded below that level and we rejected straight off the 73.8 retest this weekend. I was looking for 74.8, bro. And initially I was looking for 75.8 because I thought 74.8 was going to be too aggressive. That's a problem when you're trying to catch an aggressive short entry. I thought that was being too aggressive. And that means to me that we'll either hold very soon or we're going to get a significant rejection, even more so from this exact point here, because that sell side liquidity ended up piling up and we never retested it. For me, we should have retested 75.8 to, at your point, give people a chance at an entry for short or to blow them out, right? Because we need to get liquidity from one direction to cause the next move in the other direction. In this case, it seems like we've already exhausted all liquidity from the upside and we're just moving to the downside. So that's what I look for when it comes to retests. Like it wasn't that I didn't want to get short this weekend. It's just I was looking for a little bit of a retest to get short, and it seems like whenever you look for that little bit of retest, you never get it, and that's the point here. Boy.
What's up, Brian? You max on hype and manifest now. I mean, so far like I mean, it's a good response off the pivot. I would really, really like 200 EMA touch. Like that would really get things going. But like this is a solid level. Like for continuation, if you're gonna get shallow dips the way that we've been getting them, I mean it's getting closer and closer to 200 EMA. So like once you finally tap into this, just assume that like you might actually like round out here and fall over. But it doesn't mean like there's not a good move that could be exploited from this, especially if BTC and ETH just wanna like recover even in the slightest. I mean, we have a good chance of seeing business as usual. If you see something like this, and if it wants to continue moving up, it could do that. I mean, just gotta be a bit careful now. Like, just be a bit careful. I mean, it's been running for quite a bit. Funding's starting to get pretty high. So just remember, like most people are shoving on perps now. It's not really a spot push. So
Ton got apparently Telegram news as well as it's been strong recently. So it had that significant move from 130 up to $3, almost 100% move on that candle. On what in a few candles there on like a weekly. And then it had severe drawdown, sort of like Tau did initially when it first was that outlier pump, had that drawdown that had news to pump it into a lower high. I think Ton's going to do the same thing where it's going to pump into a lower high. Whether it be, I don't think it'll pump here and stop. It's already taking out Monday's high from last week, so it targeted where it needed to initially off this pump. From here, it gets a little bit, you got to be very cautious. Like that 204 break and flip was aggressive enough. Right now, you don't get the RR you need to at all to enter along here. Although it looks strong, I think that it could pump up to 242 and potentially put in a lower high there. So I have an alert there. It could swing a little bit above. Obviously, we have some highs here at 249, 250 that brought us into the structure break, that liquidity sweep into the most recent low form that we have right now. But it is pumping off of a sort of inverse head and shoulder break. We have that supply that was retested once last week that now has been swept. So the next level of supply above is at 242. I know you see that level on the 1 day as well.
I mean, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I don't know why I faded this, but like we've had this highlighted even upon the original drop. Like I remember getting this,
Oh,
but
wow, I see it
I thought it
now.
looked kind of weak.
Dude, it reminds me of Tau. Like, you remember when we were looking at Tau, it was trading
Yeah,
in that
same
demand
thing.
zone? Same exact setup. I didn't even see that demand zone. Wow.
Same exact setup. In fact, we're actually coming back to it right now. Like it's actually the same thing. Like it's I don't know, man. Like there might be more juice in the tank for this one. I mean, this time it might for Tal, it might actually like maybe fetch deep into the zone, might even deviate out a bit, and then you get a move like this. I guess I don't know, and then it falls over. I don't care. It's just man, I'm kind of salty about ton. I was watching it too. Like I didn't take it. Like I don't know why. Like this moves like this, man. Like just because everything else is so weak, you think it can't possibly just do this, and it does.
It's the deviations, bro. The deviations recently have been very, like at a weird time. Like the ton deviation here happened at the end of the month. Bitcoin looks like trash. It already previously popped into 220 previous, right? It just makes it look shitty, bro. They make it look so shitty. Granted, if I was to look at like you look at RSI, you start to look at other things, and then it starts to look better in hindsight, obviously. I like the flip of the mid range. That 180 flip of that mid range would have been a good entry for me if I had seen this demand zone that you just pointed out to me, which I'm fucking honestly surprised I didn't see that. I've been so focused on the 12-hour and the daily lately for everything, so that's probably the reason I missed that one up.
Yeah, there's just a bunch. There's just a bunch of pairings that I've like been watching. And I'm like, this is just gonna fade away, and it's like actually fucking strong. Like world. Like when I saw this, I was like, okay, it's done. And then it does this. I don't know, man. Like there's a lot of like weird. But there is like one common denominator on a lot of these things that have been doing really well. It's mostly AI driven. So now like you start seeing like all the AI narratives start coming out. But really, there is something to point out, and that is a focus: is that pairings that are AI that do not say they're AI are the ones that are doing quite well, whereas the ones that are implying that there's AI in their pairing are doing quite poorly, which is a really weird, um, I guess like pattern to spot out. Because it took a look yesterday. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here, right? And I was just giving a look at WorldCoin or WildCoin, whatever you call this thing again. Give a look at Taos. Giving a look at what's another one there? What's the other one that I have? No, there was another one. I can't remember what the fuck its name was. Pretty sure VVV was AI related as well. Uh,
Is it near?
could be near as well. Yeah, that too has been doing all right. I mean, not recent like today, but it's something that I spotted over the weekend. I was like, okay, that's very interesting. It's like they want you to form the narrative in your head, right? And it's really just an exit liquidity. Like that's what it looks like to me. It's really just exit liquidity. So I'm trying to get everybody hyped on the AI thing again. Um, so that's one thing I've noticed. It's probably the only thing I've noticed. But aside from that, it's been a lot of low liquidity barrel scrapes, right? BNB, from what I understand, there was a rumor, and that rumor is probably already priced in. The rumor was that BNB, Binance would allow stock trading on their platform, like fully autonomous stock trading, which is the reason for why this started running pretty hard. It ran into some pretty notable levels of supply, very similar to what we see on other majors. So like if I go to ETH, um, I'm sorry, Solana, you'll probably see something very similar, like levels of supply like this that try to get run. But from what I understand, that's what BNB was running so hard for. So again, full retrace. If it's not actually going to come out, then that's not actually the news. It's probably um, reasonable to assume that. From an intraday, it's on an S3 level for me. I mean, it's swept twice. It's got a bull div. It looks quite nice actually. I can't lie to you. could shuffle one more time, maybe give you like one more entry, but the stop is tight. You know, the target, the price targets are fair. I mean, for a scalp, I mean, why not? I mean, BDC looks like it's finally gonna fucking bounce here. So get back above 71.7, and I think things look different. But I need to get back above 71.7. Like, you know, just for now, like wants to go to 71.7 and wants to show weakness and accept out of it, then we're back in the range. And you know how much we love our ranges, right, Rob?
I love ranges. I just like when the range is respected. But that being said, we are again like we are approaching where range traders are gonna have a good time again, in my opinion. So I mean, I'm keeping my eyes open for that. How close is your S1 from hitting?
1.3% away. This is the kind of bounce you want to see. Like obviously, like the real test again, it's a little cluster of orders over here that we spent a lot of volume trading in. 71.7. Like you, last thing you want to do is just kind of like roll over here because then it looks really bad. But if you can go back, give me a 4 hour close, a daily close, game on. It's game on, and we have a swing one. Like that's how I see it. I can't catch the phone. Not when it's as aggressive as this. Like this is all fucking exaggerated, news related, perfectly timed, orchestrated, discombobulated, whatever you want to fucking throw in there. But yeah, I mean there's other pairings to focus on. Like I think hype has been great. It's been great. It's been terrific. World for some reason responds very very well. Ton like look at this fucking thing. Just us talking about it 10 minutes ago, it's already up 4 more%. You know this HUSDT. There's another thing that's been fucking popping off for whatever reason. I couldn't tell you. But if I'm not concerned, it's like a 50% retracement at this point. Yeah, we're getting close. 34. 200 QEMA, 44% retracement. I mean, like, why not? Why not give it a try? Why not give it a stab? Probably gonna look to probably just try and see if there's something here. Not gonna lie. Just at this point, BDC, if you can make a statement here and just like fully engulf, because again we've had like a sickening amount of liquidations over the past 4 hours. It's really really ridiculous. So again, if this recovers, assume everything that's already doing well to do even better. That's really my philosophy right now. There's just too many things that for some reason are just doing so well. INJ, like just weird pairings. So what do I think about Farcoin? What do you think about Farcoin, Rob?
Oh, brother. I mean, I'll always say that it's a good indicator when alts are ready to go risk. And I'm talking about every single alt risk on for like a percent. Like, I'm going to be cautious in the way I word this. Hardcoin is a good outlier to realize when it's good to trade alts for like a day or two. Like it'll show strength, and I'm talking significant 25, 30% candle up on the daily, and then it'll fall completely flat. So it is a good indication in that sense. It seems to always trigger longs for whenever the longs are ready. But then after fully reverse those moves, and it's approaching like I mean, it already broke down. It retested that breakdown at 188, and now it's at 149. It's got the lows here at 14070. I mean, is it a long spot? Yeah, from a long spot, if you've been patient to this point, from the lows here in February, yeah, it's a long spot from that aspect of things. But from like a chart like perspective and you scroll out and you start to look at things like, man, does this thing look rough. This thing looks horrendous. It has this low end wick here from 1010 at 093. I mean, from like again, from a leverage trading perspective, if I think the market is forming a bottom, then I'll look to trade Fartcoin. But until that point, I don't think blindly anticipating a reversal on a coin like this is going to do you justice right now. And that's just my opinion. I mean, it can fully reverse from here, retest 1.9, and I'll look in hindsight and say, damn. But it is in oversold territory, so I mean, it is overly exhausted, but it has been overly exhausted plenty of times before. Like we've seen from an hourly perspective on Thursday last week, it already fell flat from that move. Sunday as well already swept that low, obviously. Today, so just because things are oversold does not mean that they have to reverse fully. And even if Fartcoin looks to push, it still needs to reclaim that 0155. And I mean, from an altcoin perspective, there is alts that look good, just like the ones we spoke about. And Fartcoin is just not one that I would add in that, in that area.
Personally, I don't like it. I've never traded it. I don't think I ever will. Um, but if something like this is popping off, it's mostly a sign of, just how risk on something could be. Because, at that point, I think, anybody's willing to long anything so long as it moves. But it's like anything in this market that knowingly has no purpose. And I say this like not to insult or to offend anybody. It's just like when the show's over, the show's over. And that's kind of the reality of what this chart describes to me. Now, it's not to say that it's not at its absolute fucking lows that it's ever been. So if there's a place to have, for whatever reason, like a bullish thesis on this, then like this would be it, right? Like I don't you got your October 10th lows. I mean, if there's any reason, for whatever reason, that you feel this grows in value, I mean, it's got to be here, right? So I don't have an opinion on it personally. I don't trade it. I never will. Um, and that's it. Like that's just how I am. I don't have an opinion. So um, yeah, that's where I stand. I don't know if that's the answer I think someone was looking for, but no, you're better off just moving on to pairings that actually move, even if you don't think they do anything. If they're gonna move, they're gonna move, and they're gonna move aggressively. Like right now, like we have clear pairings that are
That's a
doing
great
it.
way to put it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, if you're gonna trade momentum for the sake of trading momentum, then trade momentum. Like don't stay stuck on Park Point. When it's down 7% on the day, but you got like 4 or 5 pairings, you're doing 16, 17%, and have been doing that for the past few days. Like it's like, just submit to the narrative, and if the idea eventually becomes wrong, then you move on.
yeah. I mean, even like SOL, and I'm not like trashing anybody trading SOL, but like, I mean, let's be real. Like, open up a chart. SOL looks like shit. It looks horrendous.
It does.
It's at $80. It was at almost $100. It couldn't even reach $100, right? On the push up that it'll have next, if it has a next pushed up, I believe it'll break 100. But man, is it rejecting it ever so harshly? Like if we're trading alts, you got to be willing to trade the alt. Like I know a lot of people do not like to trade alts they missed. They think they missed a bottom. They didn't catch hype at $40. They closed their entry from lower, a lot lower, whatever the case may be. Like it's okay to miss moves. It's okay to close moves early, but realize that these pairings that are moving actually withhold the liquidity, and those are where you're going to get your moves from. These other coins, like you're praying that the whole market reverses so you catch a 2% move on SOL. Like that's not even how I want to perceive trading right now. That's not what I've grinded years and years and years to do. I'd much rather focus my time on catching moves like hype, near, ton, tau, when those moves present themselves. When Fartcoin provides very easy opportunity on momentum, like Rego said, catch that shit. Just like it happened the other day. I even pointed out, not the other day, earlier in the month, last month. I even pointed out directly before that happened, alts looked like they were ready to go. Fartcoin should be an outlier, and it was. It moved for 30% on the day. Other than that, it moved flat on a flat candle high, which is absolutely atrocious and a very harsh rejection to see on that specific pairing. And that's a good representation of alts as a whole. So like having a good tool, like you could look at like top gainers of the day. You could look at like coins that are seeing significant influxes that way. If you're having hard troubles finding strong coins, there's always a way to find a strong coin. You just got to be willing to do the work and be willing to miss like the exact lows, because you're naturally not going to catch the lows of a coin that's strong that you just put on your radar, right? That's natural. You got to be willing to catch a good retest, put in the analysis, and be patient in that effort to do so. Like Zcash, even here, like we printed a bottom sort of thing, what seems to be on BTC, if it wants to continue pumping from here, and accept back above 718. And Zcash is looking to hold, these lows here from the end of the month. And if it wants to hold that level at 530, it's already moved $11 to the upside. If it wants to hold that level, it'll push the one day open at 568. And that's kind of how I like to approach trading, and the pairs I like to trade, and so on and so forth. I don't really like to stress these weak ass coins that make no, like it's like you're trading like we're not talking about Polkadot or Chainlink for exact reasons, because they're just not worth speaking about, right? Um, bro, just check WLD. I think he was just talking about WorldCoin.
Yeah, we've been talking about it. Like it's one of the main things I'm saying. We've had like a couple of days of like this, reaccumulating and sending, reaccumulating and sending. It's like just play it until you're wrong on a trend. Like right now it's trending, so just play the trend. And if it fails, well then the trend is over and move on to the next thing. Like I'll give you guys a trick. Now naturally, like what's easiest to do is to just go to like a website like Coinalyze, right? And just you know organize it by volume, 24-hour turnover. It's probably going to tell you the bigger story of what's going on, with which pairings are like actually, receiving some volume, liquidity, traders, whatever you want to say. But like, let's say you want like a watch list. I mean, how do I do this again? You go to this, you go to your open screener, you go to your essential whatever screener that you need. If you're using a decentralized exchange, centralized exchange, just crypto coins, whatever it is that you go, you can highlight it by exchange. So whichever perps you're trading. In this case, for me, I go to Bybit because I trade Bybit. I do this. Now I know that all these listings here are all Bybit. I want the highest volume to the lowest volume. So I'll go there. I'll pick one of these. I'll, I'll click on this, and then I'll go down to like the last 50. I'll try to get like somewhere around 50. Boom, I select them all. Add to selected watch list. I know which pairings are now moving. Done. Now you have yourself a neat little watch list of most likely some of the best moving pairings or the most active pairings. And it's like shit like that. You just want to trim the fat and get rid of like all the things that, you feel, are wasting your time. Well, there you go. Like that's a quick way to get it done.
Good talk. Clip that out at the end there, my brother. That's a good little tut, real quick. People just questioning on should I trade this? Should I trade that? Should I trade this? Should I trade? It's like, bro, it's as easy as that. It took you under a minute to explain that. It should take everybody under a minute to even to just open up a chart early in the morning and to decide, do I want to trade this coin today? Should take like a minute, not even. Like if price was moving super volatile every day, like we saw a few months ago when economic events were really moving things and all that, like okay, then you maybe put a little bit more time in. But when things are moving the way they are, it really doesn't take much.
Yeah, some of them you won't be able to catch. They'll just spark out of nowhere, and before the volume could even hit, you don't even know that it's doing that amount of volume. Like you got to ignore those ones because that's engineered short squeezes. It could be manipulated insider information. It's just like you don't have this access as a retail trader. So as a retail trader, your job is to locate volume, and you want to. It's like playing at a hot table, right? You like your setups, you trust your setups, you know your setups will work if people are simply sitting at the table with you. That's really the whole notion of what you're doing here. So like even if a market is doing high volume but it's kind of bearish, well, if you trust your bearish setups and you know people are at the table and you're playing against them, well then your bearish setup should fire at will. And if you have a really, really strong bullish trend and there's volume being generated, there's traders at the table, then you try your luck with your bullish setups and if you're risk calculate, it's like anything, right? It's like you don't want to play at a cold table because then it's you and just algos, matching market liquidity, and you're not going to get anything from that. You really gotta. My God, we're getting some nice recoveries here. Nice, but yeah, it's really about like extracting like what the top 20 to 50 pairings are. You're not going to trade them all, but you want to have your eyes on them at all times. You want to set alerts for them at all times, and like you guys can see now, like I've made some changes to my trading view. It's like every 20 seconds I have like an alert firing off. So now like I don't even have to check him. I don't even have to look at the chart. Just this pings. Now I pay attention. Like I could show you all the alerts that have went off in like the past 10 minutes. Like it just doesn't stop. So it's like some of them are significant, some of them are not. It's just be aware. It's and that's what I've been doing lately. It's just pull the top 30 to 50 pairings and keep your eyes on them. You're going to notice something. Some of them are moving really well. You ask, why are they moving really well? Well, look, this is an AI coin. This is an AI coin. This is an AI coin. Oh my God, Eureka, I think I'm onto something here. You know, And you can start to play beta plays, like which AI pairings haven't moved yet, because now the narrative is going to start to form, and it's just shit like that. It's but what's most important above all, as a scalper, as an intraday trader, as a trader in general, you cannot be trading at a cold table. You got to be trading at a table where you know there's active volume, you know there's active participants, because after that, it's just your position against theirs, and that's really what matters, right? So yeah, I don't want to get too off topic on that because we are moving into some pretty important levels. So reclaiming 71.7 here would be insane for me. This would kickstart a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm watching some things here as well. I'm watching some things here as well. Interesting move from these lows. We front ran that demand slightly as well. Held that low.
Hype, I think, is gonna pop. I'm not gonna lie. You might get fortunate enough to get like one more retest before send. I think that's good. Wild coin or world coin, whatever the fuck this is. I still don't understand why it's doing this. But it is trending. However, equal highs being made here. So
Man, hype is strong, brother.
yeah, I mean it's doing one of the most volumes. It's doing more than Solana right now. Solana looks fucking duty. But yeah, dude, 15.7 bill market cap, nothing to laugh about, nothing to joke about. It's doing one third of its market cap in volume, $2.6 billion in open interest. Funding is rising, so do be careful on that. That doesn't mean that the bull market's over. It just means that a lot of people are catching on to the trade. So a lot of it is perps. So that means the liquidity becomes a lot thinner. Cascades become a lot more likely. So whereas otherwise hype has been, more or less eating every 3% drawdown, or like a really large liquidation cascade can probably cause it to fall like 5 to 10%. So you gotta be very careful about that. Keep in mind, like when funding starts to get a bit outrageous, that means that a lot of people are willing to buy this on paper, and it's not really spot driving the demand like it was a couple of weeks ago, and it's leverage flush has become a lot more likely. And now that's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing if you're, underexposed or you're trying to, get like a really good bid. It's environments like that that usually allow it to happen. So it's starting to get a bit more costly for longs to hold. So they're more likely to close. They're more likely to get stopped out. They're more likely to even get liquidated if it goes against them. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of people like to take a long here, put their invalidation up right away. Like if people caught that long from 70.6, move their invalidation out, take them out. If they're entering here, put your invalidation below the low, take them out. Shorts still, like you don't get an easy invalidation here for a short, which gives me, just cautious vibes, man. I just don't want to ape in on this. Even right here, like you get such an easy long here with your invalidation for like a percent, 0.2, whatever. Like I think alts are just worth playing much more. So like even hype right there, man, it just keeps moving up ever since you said it. Like this whole stream, it's been at the lows. It's been moving up. Like there's no reason to be trading ETH or BTC or Sol or any of these coins when you have like clear outliers running for percents, like multiple percents in that 0.5% move for BTC. It's like just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. Like it's fine to use BTC, ETH, Sol as litmus tests in the sense that, well, like BTC's weak, ETH's weak, Sol's weak, then we should probably expect some sort of retest or dip buy. But to actively trade this while we have some things that have clear narratives, clear catalysts, hype is one of them. It's probably one of the best projects, or revenue based projects to ever come out of this industry. Believe it or not, it's likely a big deal. Like there's a reason for that. Like there's no reason not to trade a price discovery pairing. Like if it's in price discovery, it's in price discovery. If it's doing volume, it's doing volume. There's no red flags for hype. Now the red flag might be that the fact that it's quite a bit up from its highs, but it's a price discovery breakout. It's tested 2025 highs, and it's made a decent leg. So like your first instinct here shouldn't be trying to get in front of the train and try to determine where it stops, but like actually position, where can I position myself next for this to happen. And like look at how it's working. Like a pivot 200 EMA, it's so aggressive I can't even get a 200 EMA retest. Like that's how strong it's been. Now it doesn't mean that it won't eventually just roll over and get there, but your first instinct when you see things move like this, especially when they're trending this hard and there's no known highs or price to reflect on, you kind of just look to set yourself up for like, okay, well, where can I bid? And it's like, are you going to waste your time with BTC and ETH and Sol, moving 1 to 3% on any given day? Are you really going to try your best to spot beta plays in the sense that like, okay, well, if BTC is weak, which ones are first to recover? If BTC is strong, which ones are are in complete correlation with that and are quicker to recover. If BTC goes sideways, are there any pairings that actually perform quite well when it's doing nothing? And you've had a lot of answers these past 3 days. There's a few that stand out when BTC is going sideways. There's a few that stand out when BTC is going down. There's a few that stand out when BTC is going up. And it's like you'd rather just trade those. So if you have an edge on BTC and you think you know where it might be going next, why not just play its betas? Now these things switch all the time. Edge changes all the time. These things are not going to last forever, but like it's been like that for a good like 48, 72 hours now. So like again, things will change, but it's your job to spot them. And again, like if you have a trend, you bid your trend. That's how I've always been. If you have a trend and your triggers align, you bid that. Especially when we have the environment that we're on right now. So that being said, I missed my ETH S3. Makes me really pissed off. And Hype, I most likely missed as well, and sold the other one for a micro loss, which is going to bother me. But that's about, I think, all we have, Rob, today, right? Like,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
an hour.
We pretty much wrapped it up there. That's good. Have a good rest of your week, Rego. Good talking to you, my brother.
Yeah, you too. Likewise, chat. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks so much for listening in. And yeah, if there's any questions, just message me and Rob, and we'll get back to you.